Thanks very much. Did you know that actually there are 1 in 5 Australians who have a disability? This includes people with a vision or hearing impairment and those who have difficulties with mobility and cognition. And this is what I do. I do web accessibility. Now, while most web professionals are aware that websites actually should be accessible for these people, making it happen is often a long way down the list. Web designers set about trying to give their clients the most engaging and innovative designs, and the developers lament over how to actually make this happen and make it functional. But as this internal struggle is going on, you still have 20% of the population who is waiting to do their shopping online. I'm here to show you how, thanks to a few simple developments in technology, we can actually have accessible websites. You can have websites that are accessible for everyone without compromising on the aesthetics or the interactivity. Used the right way, HTML allows us to build accessible websites, albeit simple, and CSS provides that separation that's necessary between the content and the presentation. But as our websites are becoming increasingly more advanced and we're seeing complex user interface controls that rely on scripting languages, unfortunately, in making HTML dynamic, often we're also making it inaccessible to these people. And so WayAria was born. ARIA stands for Accessible Rich Internet Applications. And what it does is enhances and supports the accessibility of scripted and dynamic content. It's really an extension to HTML. And provides a whole lot of ways in which we can actually make websites more accessible with a lot less pain for the developers and also, of course, a lot more outcome for the users. Take ARIA landmarks, for example. Landmarks provide us with the ability to describe the structure of a web page in a semantically meaningful way. So, for instance, a logo and a tagline might be given the role of banner, while the main navigation is given the role navigation and the content area is given the role main to designate that's where you'll find the main content on a website. ARIA landmark is kind of like the semantic sugar that you can sprinkle over HTML. And Google is actually already using it on their search site. So Google has used ARIA landmarks to actually tag their search box, their navigation, the search results, which is in the main role equals main, and also the content information down the bottom. So for screen reader users, these are people who are blind or vision impaired and use a screen reader which essentially reads out what's on the screen, they can actually jump straight to the search results without having to linearly move through each item on a web page until they find what they want. Another issue that often causes accessibility problems is when content changes dynamically within a web page. So as a sighted user on Twitter, I can see when, for example, there's 4 new tweets in and I have to click on the link to expose them. But often that is not communicated to a screen reader user. ARIA Live regions enable you to actually specify an area or region that will dynamically update. And you can also assign a value or a politeness level to those regions. The politeness level will actually indicate how the user is notified about the update using their assistive technology. You can choose not to notify the user at all if it's unimportant, or you can be polite, assertive, or even downright rude about it. Ebuddy, the IM client, is actually using both landmarks and live regions to assist these users. You can see that the actual app itself is given a role of application, but there's 2 content areas here that have the tag of ARIA Live. And the value of assertive means that when that a user is actually alerted to the content change pretty much immediately. And given that this is an IM client, that's of course quite important. So when Katie actually messaged me, it immediately let me know through a screen reader. ARIA can also be used to assign roles and states to widgets like sliders and tree menus, and this can be communicated to the screen reader user. You can set a role, in this case slider, and also things like minimum values, maximum values, and the actual value of the slider right now. If you go away with one thing today, I hope that it is accessibility is possible. Accessibility, unfortunately, suffers from a whole range of myths. It's hard, it's expensive, there's not a lot of users out there, you know, why should I do this? I challenge Stephen about how he's going to make his map accessible. It's not all easy, but a lot of the time, best practice will actually get you at least 50% of the way, and the technologies are out there. So go ahead, go and try it blindfolded.